Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Josh with Big Slick Adventures, and we're here for Horror Hangouts Season 2. I'm not even sure which episode it is. Like we're at 13 or 14 now for this year, but um, glad to see everyone's here. Once again, I have a guest here. Both of them I had on a few weeks ago. I have from the Macabre Tavern, Yanni Hamburger. How you doing, Yanni?
Hello. Oh, we're good. Ready to go. Ready to dive in tonight.
Excellent. And also from the Substack page, the Horror Concierge Substack page, we have Miss Kimberly Ramsawak. How are you doing, Kimberly?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again.
Awesome. Excellent. And we might have one more else joining us hopefully shortly. But tonight's pretty much kind of a open forum, and we're just going to talk about just a variety of different horror topics. So, Yanni, do you have anything you'd like to bring up tonight?
I'm just interested to see what everybody else is going to bring up. Be honest with you.
Just going to piggyback off of that. How about you,
Okay.
Kimberly? You have something you have a movie or a topic you'd like to discuss this evening?
Well, this year is an interesting year for horror. I saw a couple of surprises. I think what I thought was going to be really good, I was like, and then what I didn't even hear about ended up being really good and top of my favorites for this year. So excited to dive into what that looks like.
Okay. What have some of those been so far?
I really, really liked Ugly Stepsister on Shudder. That was phenomenal. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, really like that. I just um, think about what girls, not women, girls went through for beauty standards back in the Victorian
Hmm.
era. And then that's number one. And number two, to see such a cool take on the Cinderella story from the Ugly Sister standpoint
Uh-huh.
was really good. Yeah. And it was just a really good body horror movie. I mean, very well done. Very well done. And it was sitting on my queue for a
I've,
long time.
I've
And I just thought it was really, really good.
uh-huh. And is that one that came out this year then too?
Yeah. I think it
A
came
fairly
out,
new one then?
yeah, maybe like during the spring, early spring. Shutter released it.
Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. And I didn't really hear too many people talk about it. And I forgot it was on my queue. And then I just happened to randomly say, "Oh, let me just check out Shutter tonight." And I was like, "Oh, it's been on my queue for a while. Let me check it out." And it was
Hmm.
really, really good, really good.
Awesome. Well, all right. Now I have heard of it, and have heard about the body horror elements of that
Hmm.
movie, which is I'm kind of like one that's kind of like definitely like a good body horror movie. I like the idea that got there of taking it from the ugly stepsister's
Hmm.
point of view of things, and yeah, that sounds. I guess that's one I will have to watch when I look back at 2025 and see what
Yeah,
movies I need to go back through and watch there.
it's definitely in my top. I was
Right.
going to say top three, but maybe top five of 2025 so far.
What would be your other movies so far? What would be in your top
Um,
five right now, other
Yeah,
than
my top so far, I think I've seen everything that's come out so far this year. I think my top for
hmm
2025 is Final Destination, Sinners,
okay,
um, Weapons,
yeah.
okay,
and Ugly Stepsister. Those are my top four.
okay,
And oh,
all
and
right,
Predator, the animated Predator, the Predator animated movie. That's my top five.
okay. I have not seen that one yet. Is
Yeah,
that
that's good.
what's
That's
the
good.
background on that? Is that a sequel to Prey, or is this something another different storyline they're going with?
A whole different storyline. Yeah, a whole different storyline. It's animated, so
Okay.
I wasn't going to give it much credence, but it's really well done and really it's a good
Hmm.
continuation of the entire Predator franchise. So I think they did a really good job The action is top notch. It's I forgot it was an animated movie. So yeah, it was really good. So that's my top five.
That's good.
Hmm.
Excellent. I just have a top one right now in Sinners, as we were talking about
Yeah.
before we started. I've been just really slacking. But like I said, it's typical. It's like the only movies I've seen in the theater this year have been ones that were just being re-released that I wanted to see in the theater for the first time because I hadn't seen them
Hmm.
on home
Hmm.
video. Or I was like think about
Yeah.
Predator is like a franchise that could go in different um, directions, be set in different timelines. That's why I
Hmm.
like the
Hmm.
idea and Prey of them going back that far. I'd
Yeah.
like to see them do one during like the Roman gladiator days and see like
Yeah.
Roman gladiators going up against a predator might be kind of a fun thing to see
Well, they do have
because that
a
would be something that the predator
quasi
would be attracted
something
to.
like that. Yeah, you gotta watch it. Yeah, they have something like that in the movie,
Hmm.
but they're coming out with a new Predator in November. I think November. Yeah, that looks
Yeah,
pretty
I
good
did
too.
hear
So,
about that.
hmm, yeah, that looks good.
Excellent.
Actually, no,
Has anyone
I think I said the
watched?
wrong name. I think the animated movie is Predator: Killer of Killers. Predator Badlands is what's coming out in
Okay.
November. Yeah.
Right, right. I did hear that. And I knew there was an animated movie coming out, but I didn't know it had come out yet. So
Hmm.
I will have to look for that one. Probably that'll probably be one I'll add to my November list.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Has anyone watched? Is it on Hulu? Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, that's the same. Well, speaking of Hulu, has anyone been watching Alien Earth yet?
No.
I have.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like half. I went. Okay, I've watched the first three full episodes. I was halfway through the fourth one and was honestly getting really bored.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm
Yes.
going to revisit this or not, but what's your overall thoughts so far? I mean, have you watched
Uh,
all 8 episodes
yeah, I'm all
or
caught
did you
up.
only make it so far?
I'm sort
Okay.
of like I am hate watching it because I think it's so bad. But and I'm waiting to see if it's going to get good because I love the Alien franchise and I think this is such
Right.
a disservice to the Alien franchise because it's so bad. But it is so boring. It's so boring, and the alien looks like a pet alien. Like it is so tiny and short. And I'm thinking to myself, in the alien movies, the alien is
Mhm.
like you gotta like look up at the alien. The alien is
Yes.
like 8 foot tall, like an alien. It's an alien. The alien in this
Right.
series is like a pet dog. Like it's so small. And I'm like, when did that happen? So yeah, it's so but
Based
I'm
on what
hate
I've
watching it.
seen,
So
you
bad.
watching it.
So bad.
That's the thing with these movies going becoming TV series. I mean, with my experience so far was the first episode, I was like, okay, I'm going to be patient because they're obviously setting up the characters and setting up
Mhm,
the
mhm.
story. Okay. The second episode wasn't that bad. I thought, okay, we got a little bit more going on. And then it's like gone right back to combination of being boring and annoying at the same time.
Mhm.
I can
Yeah,
tell
super
this,
annoying.
it seems like me, the creators are trying to appease both the old school Alien fans, but at the same
Mhm.
time, they're very much targeting younger fans. I don't know
Yeah.
if any of my kids or my son, especially who's more into horror than his sister is, has watched any of it. He hasn't mentioned it to me. Um, but it seems more geared towards teenagers, really, which is fine, I guess. But I have a question. It's already like, wait a second. So this takes place before the first Alien movie. So that means they must have really done a good job of keeping this under wraps from anyone else knowing about this, for starters, with
Mhm.
them crashing on Earth. And second, and this something happened in episode 3. I know synths are synthetics are supposed to be a little bit more maybe stronger than humans, but I still have
Mm-hmm.
a hard time believing that one is going to be able to defeat and kill a xenomorph, even if it is a short one, a midget
Exactly.
xenomorph, hand to hand
Exactly.
combat. I just don't see that happening at all, and
Yep.
because the acid alone, but
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, and that, to be honest, I hate Peter Pan. I really do, and there's just too many references to it.
Yeah, and that
Don't
actor
like
is, oh man, it's yeah, that character, the trillionaire kid, he is
Hmm.
so annoying, and yeah, it's so
I
boring,
hope
and
he
it just
dies.
I'm waiting for that actually. Wait,
It's
I'm waiting.
just yeah. He's supposed to be. I I want him to die a brutal death, but
Me too.
yeah, he's like comes across as kind of like a Mark Zuckerberg type of person or whatever, and it's like,
Oh boy.
ugh, do I have to deal with this? And
Yeah.
but it makes me think about the Alien franchise. Really, the first three movies are the only ones I really like. I even like Alien 3, believe it or not. I know I'm in the minority. I like it a little bit better than Aliens, actually, only because it's trying to come back to the more suspenseful
Mm-hmm.
tone of the first one. I still enjoy Aliens. Alien Resurrection is a great cast that's wasted, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one's Prometheus, okay. The other one's okay, but it's like you could have probably just ended it with three, and I would have been fine with it. But
Mm-hmm.
um,
I actually
I
like all of them. I like all the aliens. I like Aliens versus Predator 1 and 2. I like
really okay.
yeah, I do. And I like Prometheus. Prometheus is okay, but I love the body horror and the gore and all that. But yeah, I
Hmm.
like the whole franchise, but this series on Hulu is just not is real slow and not in a good way.
Not working.
Yeah,
Did
not
you
working.
like Did you like Alien Romulus? Because I did like Romulus as well until
Um
the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, they had some good scenes. The body horror scenes, they had some good scenes in it. So yeah, which I thought was better than the actual storyline itself.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I heard this on another YouTube channel. A guy made a point about the series right now, Alien Earth, that there's a lot of good scenes, but there's
Hmm.
not a good story there. And I'm like,
Right,
yeah, that
right.
based on what I'm seeing, yeah, there have been some good scenes. The only character I really like, and I don't know the character's name, but he's the guy with the really white hair that's kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
overlooking the.
yeah. The cyborg,
I do
yeah.
like that character, and the one lady who's kind of like a motherly figure to them all.
Mm-hmm.
I do like
Mm-hmm.
those two characters.
Yeah,
But I'm just kind of like so on everyone else, and yeah, I can't stand the guy who's in charge of Prodigy or whatever.
yeah.
I take it that he probably does not end well for him because, as we know, the Whalen Corporations becomes the one big, co-
Mm-hmm.
whatever major corporation that's
Mm-hmm.
overseeing all this. So right there, we can assume that probably the cyborg is going to probably get the best of everyone. I don't know because I
Mm-hmm.
think he's working
Yeah,
for one of the corporations, or I think it's the Japanese I can't make,
yeah.
like
This
whatever.
episode, this final episode that they're on, the latest one, is starting to now finally ramp up. So yeah, check it out.
Hmm.
This episode has the most action, the most alien sequences and stuff. But yeah, it's getting better, slowly but surely.
Excellent. Well, okay. Well, we'll see where it lands.
Yeah.
I was wondering, that seems to be a trend that's has started in the last few years where we have movie franchises that are now making these TV series.
Hmm.
Um, the Creep Show TV series I really enjoy because that's a movie that lends itself to being a series because you can come up with all kinds of different horror stories.
Hmm.
We're of course going to have a Crystal Lake series. I'm kind of on the fence whether or not we need an 8 episode season talking
Yeah.
about Pamela Voorhees' descent into madness. It's like we already kind of know why she
Hmm.
is the way
Yeah.
she is, but
Yeah.
I've heard the same thing. They're going to do this maybe with Halloween. A24 has just purchased the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They want to
I
make
saw
that
that
into a
thing.
series, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about doing all this? Because I'm just like,
Uh,
can't we just get a regular movie like the good old days? But
Yeah. And don't they have I am excited about the Welcome to Derry.
me
I am
too.
excited about
Me
I am
too.
yeah,
excited about that one.
That when I went, matter of
yeah, and
fact, when
that
I
should be
went through
coming
my
out soon too.
when I
Mm-hmm.
went through my streaming purge the other week, that's the only reason why HBO stayed. Was I really want to see Welcome to Derry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When does that come out?
End of the month, I think. 28th.
Okay.
Oh, this month. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's
I
like
know it comes out
tomorrow.
around Halloween.
Yeah. Hopefully they
No.
release all the
Okay.
episodes at once. It's not like a drip feed. Like I hate when they drip feed the episodes. Just like release it all at once.
Okay. It's October 26th.
Okay. October
I had to
26th.
double check that one.
Okay,
Uh,
October. So about a month from now then. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might
Yeah.
give that a try. I was a big fan of both the movies. I liked chapter one
Yeah.
obviously a lot better than chapter two. I think most people did. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm just curious to see because that is something that I think lends itself to a series because there's so many different timelines. Because Pennywise has been on
Yep.
Earth for I forget the
Mm-hmm.
exact amount before the Earth was even really Earth, I guess you could
Yeah.
say, in the before people started showing up, I guess. So there's a lot of different things you could do with that. But like I say, with Friday the 13th, it's like I once called Friday the 13th the AC/DC of horror movie franchises because they pretty much hit the same notes as an AC/DC
Yeah.
album will do. You know, it's
Come in,
the
play your
beat,
hits, and leave.
it's the blood. Exactly, and it
Yeah.
works every time, whether it's
Mhm.
whichever movie for the most part, with exception of maybe Jason Goes to Hell, which kind of like does something different, but doesn't quite work for what that formula has been. So I don't know if we need a in-depth psychological slow burn horror series for Friday the 13th
Yeah. I don't know
or
about that
Texas
one.
Chainsaw Massacre for that matter. Yeah, so I'll give it a shot, but I just like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's weird. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess they think they can make more money doing a series because it seems to me doing a series would be more expensive than just making
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
90-minute movie. But I think with everything going straight
Yeah.
to streaming and things not even when they get a theatrical release, they're there for 1 week, 2 weeks tops, and then they're straight to streaming anymore. So
Yeah. Is the Chucky one still on?
I want to say they
I
finished that
think
one
they
up.
canceled it.
Oh, they can't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I
They
think they're
canceled it
done
after
with
season
that
3.
one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it. I need to catch up on it.
Which is why I angrily got rid of Peacock. That
Mm.
was my protest for the cutting that. I was like, I'll take my $10 back now, thank you.
So it was on
Oh man,
Peacock.
Well, I
Okay.
think it was
yeah,
HBO. Yeah, I don't, and
yeah,
that was another one too. I don't think I ever watched. I think as I get older, I have like I value my time more. So if I'm gonna like invest 8 hours or whatever of a series, it better
yeah.
really keep my interest. If not, then I'd
Mm-hmm.
just rather watch a movie and then watch it, be done with it, and then go on to the next. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
I'll be honest. The thing that scares me the most right now is Fallout comes out at the end of November. And it scares me
mhm,
because I have seen the Amazon cycle and I don't like it because it's season 1 is great. You want to watch season 2, but
uh-huh.
somewhere halfway into season 2, going into season 3, they go so bad shit off the rails with the entire story. I watched it with was it Man in the High Castle. They completely just went off the rails with that one. What was the other one? The Wheel of Time, something like that. They really
What's
started.
Oh
Fallout?
wow.
What is that?
It's based on the video game.
Mm.
So it's a now Bethesda owned video game that's 2022. No, it's 2077 is the date that the US and China go into the Great War. And Fallout starts. Now, it depends on if you think 76 is canon or not, but the timeline starts like the first Fallout game starts about 125 years after the Great War.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically America post, it's your usual nuclear apocalypse type deal. But I like the way they went with the first one. You had the Raiders that came in and started taking out the vaults, because that's basically what the game centers around. You have these vaults that they put Americans in, and then you slowly find out that there were like five or six control vaults around the country, but every other vault was like an experiment on anything. So they had one that the door didn't close all the way, and another one where they were seeping in like gas that mess with your mind. There's one of them. There are two vaults that are absolutely hilarious. You have Vault 68, which is one man and 99 women. And then you have Vault 69, which is one woman and 99 men. So you can just imagine. Yeah. But my favorite vault, though, was in New Vegas. And I'm hoping we get to that one, because it is basically, it's a vault where every year the rule is you have to sacrifice one person. And they do this for 100 years. They just, whoever the overseer is, that's the person that gets sacrificed. Well, eventually they said, well, wait a minute, what the hell are we doing? And they come in, or they talked over the intercom and says, no, we're not doing it this year. And then a voice comes in and goes, congratulations, you're good people. What?
And this is all the Fallout, the show Fallout.
Wow.
This is all Fallout. And I tell you this much, they've gotten a lot right when it comes to that game. The death claws are just as scary as they are in the game. They've got the Brotherhood of Steel correct. I'm wondering how much of the Enclave we're going to get, but we're supposed to be going into the New Vegas timeline here for season 2, which means we get a lot of Mr. House. We're going to get a lot of Caesar. And yes, there is a guy who worked for the Followers of the Apocalypse, which is actually kind of like the Mormons kind of morphed into. They help everybody, but he's well read, and he goes off and starts going with these tribes, and he realizes that a lot of these tribes are very, uneducated. And so he starts bringing them all together, and he calls it the Legion. And he's like a big ancient Rome buff. So obviously he calls himself Caesar. And so you have Caesar, you'll have Caesar's Legion and the New California Republic. They're fighting over Hoover Dam in Fallout New Vegas. The stories are absolutely great in the games, and I'm glad they're bringing a lot of these a lot of the great elements from the game into the show. And that's kind of what my hope was for Twisted Metal as well. I mean, that might be the only reason why I get Peacock back, is I want to see Twisted Metal. But that's about it.
Nice.
I hardly ever watch anything on Peacock. My wife gets Peacock because she's a big WWE fan. So, and they have a lot of their stuff there. Of course, that might not last long, because I think they're going to whatever, put it on. They're messing around with it. I haven't really watched.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can.
Dropping that.
I haven't watched.
No, I was going to say, enjoy dropping that $30 to ESPN.
Doesn't matter to me, because I haven't watched wrestling in over probably 20 years or so. But speaking of something else I haven't watched in over 20 years, it's probably been Saturday Night Live. And speaking of Saturday Night Live, one of the former cast members, and this just news just came out a couple of weeks ago. Uh, Keenan Thompson, I think. I was almost going to say Keenan Allen, but he plays football for the Chargers. Keenan Thompson, I think he was also on 30 Rock, which I never saw, recently purchased the movie rights to Sleepaway Camp
Really?
and is planning, yes, and is planning on wanting to do a reimagination of Sleepaway Camp. I just like how we like change the meanings of things or
Yeah. Yeah.
fancy words like remakes have become reboots that have become reimaginations. It's just
Yeah,
like
that sounds weird.
George Carlin had it. Yeah, George Carlin had a old bit about how he said, shell shock became battle fatigue, which became post traumatic stress syndrome, and that's what we're kind of doing with the name of remakes. Apparently, he wants to produce one that's going to be written and directed by the original guy who wrote and directed the original Sleepaway Camp. I don't know if
Okay.
he's going to direct it too, but he's going to write it. And I figured, God, that guy must be in his 80s or 70s by now.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, how is that going to work? Because that's a movie that's known for really, not that the rest of the movie's not good, but it's known for that one, for all lack of
Mm-hmm.
a better term, money shot scene at the
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
end, that big shocking reveal.
Yeah.
How are you
I don't
supposed to
know how they're gonna
replicate
remake
that?
that.
Is Angela gonna have? I is she gonna have like is I don't know. Maybe the penis will have two heads on it this time. I don't know. Or maybe they do
I
a.
don't,
I mean they.
yeah, I don't know how they're gonna remake
Or
that.
maybe they.
That's gonna be interesting.
Um. You could do it. I mean, what are you gonna do? A gender reversal where this time instead of Angela, it's Andy, and instead of having a wiener at the end, it's a hamburger
Yeah.
patty.
I don't
And
know.
fans are gonna see that coming a mile wide. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do other than you make the shock that's not gender related. I don't know. I'm like, what are they doing here? And who's this movie going to be for? Because I don't think the diehard fans of that movie are gonna like it, and
Right.
younger horror fans aren't invested in that movie probably because
No.
it's not a mainstream title like your Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on
Mm-hmm.
Elm Street. It's very niche to
Yeah,
begin
it's definitely a
with,
cult classic.
and
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I think what
and
we're gonna see
I don't see
is
what they're gonna do
yeah,
with it.
we're gonna finally see the hypothesis of, well, you can't make that movie today,
Mm-hmm.
tested really well with this one.
Yeah. That's a really weird movie to want to remake.
Well, it depends. I mean, and yeah, well, and I'm impressed that Keenan Thompson is a big fan of horror, and they're also a big fan of that movie.
Huh.
Um, unless you do something that's going to be, I mean, I think about an article that was written not too long ago on Substack, and I think you two might follow Miguel Martinez. Had something
Mm-hmm.
about transphobia and um, sleepaway camp, which watching that movie a
I've
few
read
times
that.
I've seen, I've never really dawned on me because that really wasn't something that came up in
Yeah.
1983, 84 when that came out. But could that be an angle they might try and go with? Perhaps.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely can see that, especially given the certain, the current administration. I can definitely
Hmm.
see transphobia and other anti-trans views really being challenged on this one. Matter of fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, because we've already taped like most of the horror nerd experience for this season, and I think we have an episode where we at least touched on some of like the transphobia
Hmm.
of like the early 80s and the early 90s and
Hmm.
the secret the really the problematic findings of things like uh Silence of the Lambs.
Right,
Mm,
which once
mhm,
again was a
mhm.
movie I never even thought about when that movie came out
Yeah.
because it wasn't
Yeah.
really a thing that was widely discussed. Um, so I may be, because didn't they already kind of do that movie that came out? I don't know if it was last year or the year before. It was with Kevin Bacon called They Them. Didn't they kind of touch
Yes.
on those? I didn't
Yes.
see the movie, so I don't know if
Hmm.
they touched on that. At
Yeah.
that point, if that's where you want to go with the movie, then just call it something else. If it's not
Right.
going to be anything like it, kind of like the Black Christmas 2019 remake that really had nothing to do with the original, you might as well have just called it something else
Yeah.
than just
Yeah.
putting Black Christmas on it and calling it that. So it'll be interesting. I just don't, and I wonder if it's just going to be a movie that goes straight to streaming because I don't see a movie like that getting a theatrical release.
Oh no,
Just
no.
because
I
once again that movie's not a mainstream title,
Hmm.
so I
Hmm.
don't. I mean, even the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie didn't come to the theaters. It went straight to next Netflix, as did the last. Well, Hellraiser's been straight to video and streaming for over a quarter of a century
forever.
now, but you would have figured the one that came out last, the reboot, when they were calling them now reboots, but would have that was a good enough movie that probably should have went to the theaters. But yeah, I don't think Sleepaway Camp. It'll probably be straight to streaming someplace, probably
That's a
wherever they decide
that's
to go with
screaming
it.
that's screaming straight to Shutter.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, or maybe
I
Uncle
bet
Lloyd
you
will pick it up for
Peacock.
his service.
Yeah.
Peacock.
I could see it going to Peacock just because Keenan Thompson has a relationship with NBC through being on
Mm,
Saturday Night
Yeah,
Live and being on 30 Rock. It makes me wonder if he's going to work something out there. But
yeah.
I would imagine then the movie will have some comedic elements to it, which the first one didn't really have a whole lot of the original that I can remember. The sequels did get campier after the first
yes.
one, um, a lot campier. But it's like at this point, just make an original summer campground horror movie
Hmm. Hmm.
and call it some. It's almost like they're just putting the name just to get people interested in talking about it, which I guess from a
Right. That's
marketing
probably it, to be
standpoint
honest.
is
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah. That's probably it. Yeah.
So
Who
yeah,
knows?
so that was something I figured since that's been the kind of breaking news over the last couple of weeks, or it's been talked a little bit about, and I don't know. I don't know if it has the. I don't. Who knows? I know the last time we had comedian. It's not that comedians can't make a good or be behind a good horror movie project, but just because comedy and horror kind of follow the same beats in a way, just to
Hmm.
yang to each other's yang, but sometimes they fail to understand what horror's supposed to do and they think it's just jump scares and blood and
Yep.
guts, and it's, as we know, and we've discussed this on Substack, that there's a little bit more depth to these movies, so I hope they understand that part of it.
Yeah. I don't think he'll. Well, we'll see. You never know. You never know. But I'll watch it.
Oh, I'll definitely watch it. It's Sleepaway Camp. I'm
Hmm.
yeah, I'll
I'll
be
let you
there.
guys watch it, then I'll hear your input, and then I'll decide whether or not I go watch it or not. But it made me think too about remakes, whatever you want to call them nowadays. If is there a movie that you guys can think of from whatever the 70s, 80s, 90s that you would look at and say, this movie, I could see this movie maybe could use a remake. Maybe it's a movie that didn't have a good budget. Maybe it was okay, but could be improved upon. Is there any movies you two can think of that that you wouldn't mind seeing being remade today if you had the right director behind the project?
Giving
Hmm.
given given the remakes that we've seen, no.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
outside of Hellraiser, I mean, they're not. very, and I get it, and I'm not going to sit here and destroy anybody who's done it, because
Hmm.
I understand a lot of them are passionate, and it's very easy to go down the route of, oh, this is just a soulless cash grab, that sort of thing. But I mean, you've got people that legitimately, I look at Rob Zombie, he
Hmm.
legitimately loves horror, and I think did
Right. Right.
probably the best he could with Halloween. There's a few things in there that are just like, why are you doing this? But I mean, at the same time, I think he legitimately wanted to make a good movie. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit there and just condemn it all. But to be honest with you, I mean, my favorite non-horror movie is going to be rebooted next year, and I don't know if I'm still happy about it or not.
Which one's
Highlander,
that?
yeah, Highlander
Oh,
is being rebooted.
well, I'm a big fan of. I think. Well, we'll see. I think Henry Cavill's a good choice for that
Yes,
character.
Hmm.
Um, I'm curious to see who they have play the bad guy or the Kurgan, because it's going to
yeah.
be awful tough to beat Clancy Brown in that role.
Well,
It's hard
yeah,
hard to beat him anyway.
it's so great because what is it? It's a Frenchman who plays a Scotsman. A Scotsman plays a a Spanish guy, and an American plays a Russian.
I saw this on YouTube. I found like a guest panel like at one of these cons
Mm.
with Christopher Lambert and Clancy Brown, which was really good. And
Oh
and
yeah.
even they were making fun of each other's lack of accents in the movie about that. And they were
Oh,
just having fun with it. I think it sounded like to me that they had a lot of fun making that movie. Um and yeah, Clancy was constantly, making fun of Christopher. Yeah, I got this French guy that.
you know, the scene that makes me lose it in that movie every time is when Connor is explaining
But
haggis, and you're sitting there watching the Mr. Scotland himself, Sean Connery, go, haggis? That sounds revolting. I'm like,
revolting.
revolting. Oh,
Okay.
We'll see what
I
they can
thought,
do with it. But yeah, I mean, I'm like, that's an odd one to remake, but
yeah,
we'll see. Um,
I really like the
One movie that I had thought
no, the
go ahead.
remake, The Last House on the Left. That remake was, I thought it was pretty
that's a
good.
good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Thought it was pretty,
Hmm.
yeah, 9 out of 10.
Well, I think in
Yeah.
the 2000s, I thought there were quite a there were I think out of the 2000s, there were more good remakes than there were bad ones in that
Mm-hmm.
era where they're remaking. Because I like the Texas Chainsaw remake, I like
Mm-hmm.
the Friday the 13th remake. Actually, probably in my top five in that series. I liked Rob Zombie's Halloween. I mean, I had my critiques of both films, but there was enough for me to like about them.
Yeah.
Um, I thought the Night of the Demons remake, which never gets talked about, I actually like that slightly better than the original, believe it or not, just
I
by a
don't think I've
tad. And I
seen the
love both of
remake.
them.
I'm trying to
Oh,
think.
yep, check it
I
out.
don't think I've seen that.
Came out
Okay.
and it has well, I mean, I'm not. You might not like it as best as the original, but I think it's worth a watch. It's very
Mhm.
2000s, has a very 2000s metal feel to it.
Okay.
Um, but same storyline, but they changed some things around. I think the final
Mm-hmm.
girl in the remake is much better than the one in the original. It's why I kind of like the remake a little bit better.
Okay.
But it's worth watching. I like the
Mhm.
2006 Black Christmas remake. The My Bloody Valentine remake was good. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
but then since then, they didn't know when to quit. They decided, well, let's remake this. I mean, they
Yeah.
even remade Cabin Fever, I think, and that movie was only like
Yes.
10 years old when they did that. It's like, what are you doing? Wait, you have to at least
Yeah,
give a
yeah.
movie 25 years before you're going
Uh,
to remake
I
it.
mean,
But
now we're getting. I know what you did last summer, and I'm sitting there going, let's wait a little
oh
while
yeah,
for that one, please.
and we
I
talked
haven't
about
seen
that
it.
one on the. You probably don't. Well, we discussed that one about it was about earlier in the summer on the channel, and I haven't seen it, but from what some of my other co-hosts were saying, nah, it was
Yeah,
a
that's what I
big
heard.
thumbs down on that one. Um, I tell you what, one movie I was thinking about that I wouldn't mind seeing being remade is Toby Hooper's Life Force. And
Oh, I know. That's a hard
my
act to follow. I love the original.
well, and I like the original, but I remember there was always a few things about the original that I thought could be improved upon. One was, and I know it sounds like a minor thing, but I hate the opening score to that movie because it doesn't feel like a sci-fi horror score. It sounds like something that would go to a Star Wars ripoff movie,
Uh
which
huh. Uh
sometimes
huh.
the score can kind of mess with a movie. I wanted it to be more brutal almost. I would
Hmm.
have liked to have seen it. I thought they could have gone a lot harder with it. Um, but what I would want to see happen, also, I think they wasted the male vampires. What was the point of having them, even in the story, if you're just going to kill them off that easily in the first half hour of the
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
But
They didn't. They had
what
like
I
a
would
five
like to,
second scene.
yeah, yeah. And what if I was going to see that done? What I would probably do is, instead of, I would just have one of each, a female and a male, that get captured, say, by the International Space Station that we currently have. And
Hmm.
then one country, let's say Russia, takes one of the specimen to theirs, United States takes it to theirs. And the whole point is these two escape in similar fashion of the movie. So they're both, we can have whatever, equal opportunity offender, full frontal for both until they escape, and they obviously need to get some
Exactly.
clothes on or whatever.
Yeah.
And the point of the story is these two are trying to make their ways back to each other, because if they do that, then they become too powerful together for the Earth to
Hmm.
survive. Something along that way. And
Hmm.
I was like thinking and I would like to see maybe someone like Brandon Cronenberg, or and now I'm gonna forget. I always forget her name, but the one who directed The Substance. I could see one of those two people maybe directing that film.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that would be
Yeah.
my idea if they were to do a
I mean, it
Life
has
Force reboot.
really good
Is
potential
maybe
to be
do
a
that
really,
and just
yeah.
make it more grittier.
Yeah, it has really good potential to be a really good movie. I mean, because it sort of has it's vampires, but it has like a zombie vibe towards it towards the end of the movie. So, I mean, if they
Hmm.
make the vampires, because I love, I mean, for the time that it came out, the body horror and the graphic of when she was like sucking the guys and making them like real dry, and they kind of like imploded and turned into dust. I mean, that was really
Hmm.
good for that time that it came out. So I think if they were to remake it, I mean, they could do some really
Right,
cool
right.
special effects with it.
And I don't think, and good practical effects at that
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
No
something
CGI.
that's why I mentioned those two directors,
Yeah.
Cronenberg,
Mm-hmm.
David Cronenberg's son, who's
Yeah.
basically the apple didn't fall far from the
No,
tree
it didn't.
with
His
him.
name was
And
Brandon, right? Is it Brandon? Brandon Cronenberg?
I need to,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Brandon who,
Yes,
of
Brandon.
course,
Oh.
yeah, Brandon who did Infinity Pool and
Mm-hmm.
Possessor.
Yeah.
And then I think about, I'm gonna have to look this up. Who the lady who directed The Substance? She knows how to do practical effects, and she knows
Mm-hmm.
how to
Mm-hmm.
blend the sexuality with the body horror
Yeah.
elements
Yeah.
with it. So that's why those were like two that
Yeah.
stuck in my
I
mind
love
that could
Possessor. I need to
probably
rewatch
pull
that.
that off. Because I don't think, yeah, I
Yeah, I'll
just
just say,
watched it
yeah,
about,
Possessor.
it
Yeah.
was like for the first
So
time about
good.
2 or 3 months ago because I wanted to see because I'm a big fan of Infinity Pool. So I'm like, well, what else
Mhm.
has he done? And I don't know what some of his other movies are, and if he has anything coming out soon. But he's one of those directors that I want to keep an eye on when they release
Mhm.
something. I need
Mhm.
to look up. I'm gonna look up her
Uh,
name here real quick. Here,
it's
Isn't it like
you would think
Julia or something?
because
Coraline
I'm
Farragut, I
of
Okay.
believe.
Okay.
French ancestry, would remember French names, but I don't. So you're gonna probably beat me to it.
Yeah, Possessor was really good. I need to rewatch that. I've only seen
Right.
that once. I need to rewatch it.
Coralie Fargo. Coralie
Yeah.
Fargo.
Yeah.
Virgo, yeah.
I mean, because I also like Revenge, which she did back. What was that? Early
Mhm. Mhm.
2020s, I think, when she did Revenge, which was a
Mhm.
really good. Well, it is what it is, a revenge movie,
Yeah.
basically. But I really like that. I mean, I like directors who aren't afraid to push the envelope,
Mhm.
which sometimes you get some movies I watch. I'm like, even like the Hellraiser reboot. My big critique was, yeah, too many off-screen kills. You needed to go further with that, but so it is. But that was
Yeah.
like just one movie I thought of. Like, yeah, I could see them maybe improving upon that concept, maybe. But that was like, but to Yanni's point, yeah, it seems like all the remakes they make recently are just really bad. And
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you had to press me on, like, if you wanted me to remake one movie from the 80s, The Stuff. I would like to see what The Stuff would be like today.
I co-sign that. Co-sign that 1,000%. That's my top pick too. I love the
okay,
stuff. Love it.
It was a great movie.
Hmm. I love that movie. That movie's so good.
I wonder if you could. I wonder if you could. I wonder if you could even think about, because a few years ago, thinking about they came out with a remake of Suspiria, which as a movie, once again, it was a movie that had some good scenes to it. Basically, I would say second to last scene when they're in this cavern or cave, but by and large, um, it wasn't a good movie and just pales in comparison to
Yeah.
Argento's Suspiria. Or if there's any other Italian movies, I can't
Oh
see
no.
any of those
No.
movies,
No.
whether it's the
No.
giallo or just the straight horror.
No.
Especially by an American American studio, no way. This couldn't
Hmm.
happen.
No.
Yeah.
Because
Horror
I
uh,
yeah, I know the movies that they want to redo. And if they remake
mhm.
Zombie, I will riot. I will single-handedly riot. You cannot recreate the practical effects in that movie. You could not recreate that thing because you were sitting there the entire time realizing, oh my god, this is pre CGI,
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
zombies look
Mhm.
so amazing. And I'm
Hmm.
sitting there going, you no, don't touch those movies, not one bit.
But there's a ton of movies from the 80s and late 70s. Like the practical effects are so phenomenal. And this is,
Yes,
pre
Mhm.
CGI, pre tech. And it's just like, in this day and age, there's no excuse as to why a movie has horrible, horrible creatures, monsters, because, like
Mhm.
it's just so good. It was just so good. And they had no technology back then. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with these modern movies, some of these modern movies.
it's got to be the laziness.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that's all I
Well,
can think.
it's the attempt of wanting to make a movie as cheap as they can, as quick as they can, so they can
Mm-hmm.
maximize their profits.
Yeah.
Really, is what it probably comes down to. I remember a little bit over a year ago, and I think it's been shut down. There was a rumor that they were going to remake Possession, which is one of my all-time favorites. And I'm like, it was going to be the person who directed Smile, I think, and then we have guy who I call Twinkle Toes. I mean Robert Pattinson. Um, I'm just joking. He's actually a pretty good actor. He's going to play the same role, and like, no way, don't do it. Don't do it. That is such a European film. There's
Right.
no way no one here in North America should touch that movie whatsoever. You're not going to top Isabella Johnny's. You're not going to come close to her performance in that movie.
Right.
So don't even try.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
she have like mental health issues after that scene because she put her whole self into that scene. Like that's like you can't
They
tell me
both
she really
did.
wasn't possessed in that scene. That scene's crazy. So I
nuts.
mean, I don't think
Oh,
a
I know.
modern day actress could duplicate the authenticity of that scene.
Mm-mm.
No,
Mm-mm.
no. I mean, the closest one I could think of, and I don't think she would even take the role. To be honest, would be a goth, maybe
Yeah, for
Lily
real.
Rose Death, just because some of her scenes in Nosferatu kind of reminded me a little bit
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
of
You're right.
that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would even take that role just because no, that role cannot be touched probably. And I
No,
don't
Mhm.
think they would
it can't
even
be
take it.
reproduced.
But
Yeah.
Like even I was
no,
thinking maybe Gaga could take it, but I don't even think she's got that much to really she can go that far. Now I know she can go
Yeah.
far, but she can't. I don't even think she can go that far.
Yeah. I don't
right.
know.
Because I know that Sam Neill has said that's easily the most intense role he's ever played, and he's played some
Really?
intense roles.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, he said, yeah, that took him a while, even him to recover from that, because that was such a it's almost what I call emotional horror movie. I mean, it's one of those movies that's hard for me to even put into a category. It could be body
Yeah.
horror, it could be psychological horror, it could be
Uh-huh.
creature
Uh-huh.
feature. Um, yeah, I was like, God, I'm glad they did. I see in the chat one person said that they enjoyed the remake of The Thing, which is one that I
Oh
have not seen,
yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
bad.
and I don't know
No, it was
what
good.
if you guys was it
It was
okay.
good.
I mean, I've
Yeah.
heard
It was
mixed things about it because I think it was more of a prequel, wasn't it, than a remake?
well, it depends on what the original thing was from the 70s, right? The original,
Yes,
right?
the original.
Okay,
Yeah,
then you had the remake with
Well,
Kurt Russell, right?
right.
So is
Hmm.
that person talking about that remake where the true remake with Kurt Russell or the prequel to that remake, which
That's a
isn't a remake, it's a
good thing.
prequel. Yeah.
If horror recaps is still out there, which thing remake are you talking about? The 82? Because that would be technically a remake. I'm
That's
not
the
putting
remake. Yeah.
them up on
Yeah.
here or there. So yeah, I mean that would be a remake. That of course was good and probably better. Remake with a girl. Oh, okay. So they're talking about the prequel then, the
The
remake with
prequel.
the girl as the
yeah.
main
Yeah.
character.
That was good
Okay.
too.
Yeah,
That was
That's
good
great.
too.
I
Yeah,
haven't
I
seen that.
liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good too. Yeah, I forgot
Okay,
about the
so
remake.
I think one that was like considered really bad at that time was the Fog remake, which I've never seen just because I heard they use CGI all over the place on that movie. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bother
It's
with
okay.
the Fog remake. I know
Yeah, it's all right.
I know the Nightmare on Elm Street remake gets a lot of hate, but I really don't mind it. I think it's better than some of the later sequels in that series because at least they tried to make it more to get back. Well, the later sequels do get a little overly comedic, and this one's trying to, I think, bring it back to being a little bit more terrifying. But
Mhm.
I don't think it was a bad movie. I wouldn't put
No,
it
that
ahead of the
remake with
first
Freddy,
three
that
or A
horrible
New
Freddy.
Nightmare.
Oh yeah, New Nightmare. That was
We have
You
le-
didn't
we have
like
Freddy
worse than
Krueger at
trash.
home.
it.
Worse than trash. Like, don't no. That was
Uh,
disgraceful. No, absolutely not.
I know that movie gets a lot of hate, but it was one that I didn't really mind that much. Maybe because I like the actor that played him. I guess maybe I have a bias there.
Oh my
Now his
gosh.
name's skipping my. Now I can't think of his name now, but he's been in so many different movies. I'll think of it later on, but yeah, that was one that did not get well received. I think, and
Yeah,
It's hard
it
to
was pretty bad.
it's hard to take it's hard to take it's not like with Michael and Jason where you have a mass killer, you can just put anybody in that, and for the most part, it's going to work. But when you take a character like Freddy, we know him as Robert England, and they
Mm-hmm.
had the same issues for a few films anyway with trying to replace Doug Bradley as Pinhead, even though I think most people agree
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Clayton did
Oh
a
Mm-hmm.
great
God,
job with that role,
Listen,
it's
and that
still one
yeah.
of the greatest horror memes
Um,
of all time.
horrible. That remake with the other guy playing Pinhead. I can't believe that people put
Yeah.
money to make that movie. Like I
Uh,
can't.
They didn't put any money in the movie. That's the problem. They
that's
spent like $300 on that movie.
That
that's
movie was
still
trash.
that, that's still one of my favorite memes of all time. Is what was it when
The great
Wish.com was
value
big?
Pinhead.
Yeah, it's like Wish.com Pinhead. We got Pinhead at home.
Oh, that was
Only for
that was trash.
what did Clive Barker say about when that movie came out? Goes, this I am no way associated with this movie. This movie
Yes,
isn't worth a pimple on my ass or something like that or
Yo,
something
that movie
like.
was
I remember him trashing that movie hardcore,
as
man.
he should have. It was
Yes,
trash.
it was awful. It was
It was
awful.
bad. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, come
I
on. It's like you said, like Freddie is Robert Englund. Pinhead is that actor. Like you can't like
Hmm.
that is
yeah.
them.
Doug Bradley, yeah.
Nobody could replace. Nobody could do it.
Well, what I
And
guess
they
I
still have good.
oh no, I was gonna say I that it's kind of one of my fears that I know Uncle Lloyd is getting up there in age, and we might not have him much longer. What I'm really scared of is somebody coming back and not doing
Hmm.
trauma movies very good. Like, don't get me wrong, I did see it. I saw it for the 15 seconds it was in theaters. Toxic Avenger is good. Peter
Hmm.
Dinklage actually did a good job. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
sit there and lie.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm scared of is somebody's gonna come out and try like Maniac Cop or something of that nature. And
Hmm.
Maniac Cop is just so hard to get right. And they barely got it right for the original. But I mean,
Yeah.
Originally, yeah.
yeah. By the way, they're making a Night of the Chicken
Yeah, I
Dead too. I
agree.
don't know if y'all heard that or not.
Oh my gosh.
I actually follow somebody on Facebook who's in the movie.
I've never heard
So
of it.
it's
Oh,
it's
well,
awful.
you know what? A job's a job. I hope he had fun with it,
I
and maybe
guess.
we'll see him in the future, a better film, maybe.
I guess.
Um,
Ugh,
I mean, remakes are fun. Some remakes are fun, but I'm just like,
that's
okay, like,
weird.
is there not any creativity? Like, give me something new. Like, that's why I really love Weapons because Weapons was new. It was fresh. There was no
Hmm.
thread of a storyline that has been done before, not an ounce. Like so. Smiles. It has threads that's been done
Hmm.
before. You could even kind of argue and say something like there's a minor thread of Sinners that has been done before, but Weapons is a thousand
Right.
percent original. And it's so, and I love Sinners. Sinners was my number one until Weapons came out, only because of that. Because Weapons
Okay.
is 1,000%
Yeah, I was.
original.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, and that's and I would say with Sinners, it does take something from another movie, though I think it does it better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, for me personally, because I don't know why. Tarantino's a great director, but I hate seeing him on film. I just can't stand looking at him in a movie. So it always
Yeah.
takes me out of a movie whenever he shows up. I'm like, someone, you're not an actor. Sorry, Quentin, just stick to directing. But God, um, but probably Michael B. Jordan's best performance I've seen him in.
Oh,
That's
hands down.
saying quite a
Hands
bit
down.
because um But I would say the same thing. I mean, Late Night with the Devil. That's something that I can't think of anything
You
similar to
know,
that beforehand.
if you want to call that one an analog horror,
Uh huh.
I'm more I would more consider that a true analog horror movie than Skinamarink. And I know a lot of people love Skinamarink. That's more psychological to me, but
Hmm.
that was to me that's like the closer to the truer definition of what analog horror is, because you're talking about making things from the 70s, from the 80s, anything that can be on a
Hmm.
VCS or VHS. I'm
Right.
trying to say VCR and VHS at the same time. But to me, like that is the essence, because you're in a talk show in the late 70s, and everything that they were doing was documented on film. And I thought, okay, this is and I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was one of the best movies. Matter of fact, I think I placed it second in my
Hmm.
2024 movie reviews, because it was just, and it's become like I hate to say it, I don't want to use the word comfort movie, but it's one of those movies I put on when I'm having a crappy day, because it's
Okay,
just
that's
so
interesting.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so perfect.
I mean, I will always love the premise of someone selling their soul for riches and fame. I mean,
Yes.
I'm never going to get tired
Hmm.
of that storyline ever.
Right.
Um, but I just felt the reason why it wasn't in my top and I love the talk show top theme because that is brand new. Love that.
Hmm.
Yes.
But what I didn't like so much about the movie was that I wish the possessed girl they would have given me more of that, and I felt like it was rushed. Like, they did
Yeah.
like bam, 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 killed off everyone, and it was like, okay, I don't know, I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah, I could see that point there too. Plus, I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more background. I mean, they kind of did rush maybe a little bit about
Yeah, I felt like it
this
was
deal
rushed.
that his deal made. So maybe like the
Right,
last 15,
right,
20 minutes. I
right.
I still love the movie. And it's a 9
Yeah.
out of 10 for me. But certain other things could have maybe raised it up a little bit. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think I've heard a lot of people also make that point where they still love the movie, but yeah, I wish they could have went A, B, and C here maybe.
Yeah.
And hmm for sure. I mean,
Okay.
very rarely do we get a movie with that we don't find maybe a little couple critiques with it
Hmm.
sometimes,
Hmm.
but um, yeah,
I don't know. I thought Weapons was pretty perfect. I thought
okay.
Weapons was a
I've heard good things about that, so that's
pretty perfect
one
movie.
that's going to be on my top of the list when I
Yeah.
get to it for sure.
That's probably my 2025 movie of the year.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'd probably put that there.
I'll have
Yeah.
to wait until, but to your point, I wish that we could come up. We in recent years we've gotten Terrifier, which gave us a new franchise. Whether you're into it or not, I'm glad it exists because it became so
Hmm.
successful, and the fact
Hmm.
that the third one just destroyed a big studio movie like the Joker Part Two, just
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
destroyed it. I think is great
Yeah.
in so many ways.
Mhm.
But all right, let's now find ourselves another icon to start, a new franchise to start, and it makes me wonder about like I always think about the Akkad family, who obviously Mustafa Akkad's financed the first Halloween in their family since he passed away. His son has taken the mantle and they continue it. Why doesn't Malik Akkad try and find something new to put his money behind
Mhm, mhm.
rather than keep on regurgitating Halloween? Because I don't think there's anything more with Halloween we can really
No,
do with it.
we're done.
Really. Yeah. I mean,
We
there's
Yeah.
are done.
nothing. I think I gave you guys my idea how it should have ended on our last live stream, which was, total craziness, but why not? But I don't see anything more you can really do with it. You're gonna do what a Dr. Loomis backstory series
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah,
but it's
which
like,
nobody
Don't
cares.
give them ideas. Don't give them ideas.
Nobody cares.
it's it's gonna be CSI Dr. Loomis. I mean, it's
Oh my god, yeah. Like no,
I would
no.
almost
I'm
watch
good.
that depending on who they had playing Loomis, but that could almost be interesting. I just see him barreling in with a cane, goes, "That person didn't kill him. Look at this crime scene. It was a whatever." But
No.
I know have a Dr. Loomis Clarice Stalling crossover
oh Lord,
between Silence of the Lambs and Halloween. No, that would be funny.
Dr. Loomis, are the lambs still screaming?
What are you talking about? Yeah, I could see him interviewing Dr. Lecter.
Oh jeez, that would be
This is
great.
church. Yeah. I am
Imagine
looking for the black phone though. I mean, I
Black
thought,
Phone too.
yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't really look at the trailer, so I just assumed that. I'm like, that's gonna be corny because didn't he die? But then I saw the trailer. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Now is we might have a good contender to wrap up the wrap up 2025. So we'll see.
yeah. And like I said, I think I'm curious to see what they do with Frankenstein just because, well, Mia Goth is going to be in that. I'm not and
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a good cast, and Guillermo del Toro normally directs good movies, so I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if that's going to be
Yeah.
this year's Nosferatu, like that was, last
Mm-hmm.
year. And then they're supposed to do The Bride. And I think someone else is directing basically a remake of Bride of Frankenstein, which Grant has been done, but we'll
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. I love those old Universal Studios. Um, I kind of wish they would just at this point let Dracula rest
For real.
because outside of, I mean, Nosferatu was kind of a different thing, but that was done really well, and I did like what was the Voyage of the Last Demeter, or Last Voyage of the Demeter, I
Yeah.
should say. That was really good. I hope they just leave it there because, quite frankly, most of the other Dracula movies that have come out in the last, really, since Bram Stoker's Dracula, Coppola's version, have not been very good for the most
No.
part. At least the ones that I've seen, anyway. I
I don't
like
think any of them has been good since then. I'm trying to think what came out since Bram Stoker's. I didn't like Nosferatu. I didn't like the Voyage of the Last Meter. I didn't like what else?
there was Dracula 2000. There's been several other.
Oh no, Dracula
Oh
Untold.
no,
Dracula Untold. Is that
I
Dracula?
haven't seen
yeah,
that one. Is
That
that
was
the one with?
pretty good actually.
Oh, okay, okay.
there
The Dracula
there is.
2000 of Dracula Untold. Can't
By the
remember.
way, there is a remake of the Creature of the Black from the Black Lagoon being made. James Wan is doing it.
Really?
That could be
That,
interesting.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because that's a movie that really. I mean, some people will say A Shape of Water, in a lot of ways, was
Oh my
kind of a,
god.
and I never saw it, so I don't
Don't
know.
don't see it.
Okay.
So,
Um,
but
yeah,
James Wan, okay, I might have
we'll
to.
see what he could do.
Yeah.
and that's another thing too. We were talking about. I guess also Blumhouse have purchased the rights to Saw franchise, and once again, what are you gonna do? I mean, to me, Saw X, stop.
It finished the story. It finished the story.
There's
Well,
nothing
if they're
more.
gonna keep giving you like giving you stories of what happened already,
Hmm.
like with X was that, and I thought
Right,
X
Yeah.
was phenomenal, and I was
right.
going
Me
in thinking
too.
it was going to be horrible, but it was phenomenal.
But
So if they're going to keep giving you snapshots of Jigsaw's life here and there, John Kramer's life, chapters of his life
Hmm.
that we just didn't see, then I would give it a fair shot.
I
Right.
I think I if I really wanted to be fair about it, if you wanted to move it, even if you wanted to move it away from Kramer, then let's go with Amanda. I want to see what
Hmm.
Amanda could do. I
Mhm.
really want to see things from her mind.
Yeah, from
That's
her perspective. Yeah, yeah,
that's fair
yeah,
because let's face it, Tobin
yeah.
Bell's not getting any younger, and he's
Right.
well into his 70s. So I don't know how many more movies he can do. But I like that idea as far as
Yeah.
having Amanda maybe be taking the mantle. If you go that route, where now finally John Kramer maybe has passed away, and she's going to kind of take up that
Mm-hmm.
mantle. I would like that. I would be interested in seeing what they could do with that because
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think she's one of the
Yeah.
more underrated um
Yes.
Yeah.
female
I agree.
characters in horror for sure.
For real.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
I
that's
mean,
and that's and well, as I say, that's part of a story that I think would further one of my um, arguments that I made about how you've already lost the minute Jigsaw's got you. Is if
mm-hmm.
you win
hmm
the game, you become an acolyte. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to keep it fresh, let's put the acolytes, put them in charge.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
can do one
hmm
different one for each movie, and it's fresh, it's new, and you get a story told from a different perspective.
Yeah, because
Because
Dr. Gordon is
yeah,
still fairly young. He could come
yeah,
back. Dr.
right.
Glenn, Amanda. I mean, Costa's Mandalore. I forgot his name in the movie, but he
yeah,
was on the bad side. But yeah, but definitely do not bring me another John Kramer. He's like Freddy
one
and
hundred percent.
Pinhead. Like you cannot replace him.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. There's no reason of doing that. I see that. Well, Molly couldn't join us tonight, but she is in the chat, and I just wanted to ask her if she's still watching because I know she's a huge fan of Sleepaway Camp, and we were talking earlier about there possibly being, well, it's not possible, it's going to happen at some point, a remake of Sleepaway Camp. Is that something you want to see? And her is probably now going to explode um,
Oh yeah, I'm seeing the
after
chats.
saying that because she's a huge fan of that movie. That's why I was hoping she would be able to join us. But and yeah, we'll see what she says in the chat there. I keeping an
Okay.
eye on that. But yeah, I mean, there's no. Once again, you're right. No reason trying to replace Tobin Bell, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of Amanda kind of going forward with that, and I think that would work. I think she's been in enough movies, and the fans like that character enough that they would
Mm-hmm.
be willing to go there,
Mm-hmm.
following her going forward. So
Yeah.
yeah, that could be something. Will Blumhouse do that? I don't know. They've been really hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So she says, I'm not a huge fan of the remakes, but weirdly enough, I actually do see some merit to remaking it now with the conversation surrounding trans. Yeah, and that's what
That's
we were
exactly what you
talking
guys
about
said.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. So that's interesting. Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
So
and and
normally
I'm
I would say hell no, but this is a rare exception.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
no, and I legitimately wonder because that does bring me into things that I've been thinking about and things that we've covered on Hard Nerd Experience too,
hmm
and that is we've got 3 years of this administration. What topics are we going to get coming in horror? And I know I'm not trying to drag it into politics or anything, but let's be honest, horror is political. Um, I just wonder what we can do as far as because there's going to be a lot of directors that are going to shove a big middle finger to this administration, and I will
Oh
go
yeah.
to every movie.
hmm
I will go to every movie 5 times just to support it. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I do wonder, like, what do y'all think are going to be some of the big top? Now that we're getting to the end of 25, I think all the movies for 25 have been made. What do you think are going to be the biggest topics going into 26, maybe even 27?
Well,
Hmm.
if I had to, I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to predict what directors will do what because some of them just don't want to get into that area,
Mm-hmm.
and those
Right.
that do will be more of a subtle approach, and that's when
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that commentary works best when it is kind of subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's like George Romero's brilliance with Night of the Living Dead is
Mm-hmm.
a perfect example. Would we would boy, people are going to gravitate to a movie like John Carpenter's They Live even more so
Oh,
Yes.
now
absolutely.
than they
Yeah.
did then
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
Um,
And do not remake that movie.
no,
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 please
no,
don't.
no. I shouldn't have even said that because now
No.
someone's going to get
Yeah.
the idea to try and do that. Even like, well, even Carpenter's like Escape from New York. There's
Mm-hmm.
themes of
Mm-hmm.
authoritarianism and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
who's going to be our Snake Plisskens, and they've talked about remaking that one. I hope they never do.
No, God,
Um,
no. Those are
no,
so good.
yeah. It's hard to say. Will they get into? I mean, we've had horror movies and sci-fi movies, which often blend together, deal with stuff like censorship before. Will they tackle something like as controversial as genocide at some point? I don't know.
Mhm.
That's a very controversial thing. I mean, well, fortunately, my channel's not monetized, so I don't have to worry about being demonetized. So,
Same.
oh, hey, you got more subscribers than I do. So I'm looking at just damn. But anyhow, there are so many things you can. I mean, obviously, and I haven't seen this series, but I know it deals with it. The Handmaiden's Tale, which isn't really horror.
Mhm,
I haven't
mhm,
watched
mhm.
it, but that's something that could definitely
That
be used. Definitely,
Yeah,
well, today's
yeah,
that's
terms.
that's a movie that I think can be remade. Stepford
yeah.
Wives.
I turn into a movie adaptation for sure,
Mm.
for
Yes,
sure,
Oh,
Stepford.
and it will be
Stepford Wives.
highly popular because
Yeah.
legit, we feel like as women that it's getting to that
I
level. So,
I I
so yeah.
honestly I would love to see a female director redo Stepford Wives and make it even more of a terrifying
Hmm, hmm.
deal than the movie and the book was. Which,
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
if y'all haven't read the book, go read the book. It's amazing.
Really
Hmm.
Yes.
interesting. I gotta check that out.
I've never seen them. I know what the movie's about. I haven't seen it. I
Yeah,
didn't know it was made off of a book.
neither did
Um,
I. Okay. I mean, what I like, I mean, there's a zombie movie that they have been talking about doing a part two for decades. World War Z, which is one of my favorite zombie movies.
hmm
Love it.
And I
Love
would
it.
love for them to maybe, based on a political climate, figure out how to make a part two where it talks about like the ramifications of groupthink and to weave in like the zombie element to that, and how
hmm
groupthink is detrimental and how just believing everything on social media or just, like that would be a cool angle to take something into in the future.
Yes. Yes. But you know what else would be great? Because we need more parody. I kind of
Hmm.
want another Starship Troopers just because of
Yeah,
how over the top the
yeah. What
the
Well,
about
and that's
parody
the
movie?
was.
movie too. And I've always
Yeah.
said that I think Paul Verhoeven is the most underrated direct. I mean, grant he made some duds, yes, like Showgirls, but when he knocked it out of the ballpark with RoboCop, Total Recall, and Starship
Nice.
Troopers,
Yes, yes, and yes. Yeah.
he really hit that commentary really well. His, way he molded that, and I mean,
Hmm.
he's basically showing you in Starship Trooper just how ridiculous people
Oh,
are. I
he
mean,
could have so
he's
much
so
fun with
blatant.
MAGA.
Hmm.
He's and I think he's still alive. He's probably in his 90s
Yeah.
by now, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's all together with it at that age, but I hear Argento still wants to make another movie, and he's like 92 or something
Really?
like that. But yeah,
He
he's
wants to make one with his daughter, right?
well, they've made movies together. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
actually like to see her branch out, Asia
Me too.
Argento, and do her. And I think she has done some smaller
Yeah, she's
films.
done a couple things.
I'd like to see her do some. I follow her on Instagram, and every once in a while she posts something there, and I'd like to see her really step up and do
Hmm.
something really crazy, batshit crazy, like just like
Yeah.
her dad. Well, yeah, there's something there. Asia Argento and Brandon Cronenberg, two
Yeah.
offsprings of two legends. If they
Yeah.
got together, did something together, would be
Yeah,
kind
that'd
of
be cool.
fun.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't
But
know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what pops up next year. But there's this movie that I saw. It's not a horror movie, but it's a parody. It was with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, and they were talking about like the end of the world or something. Do you know that movie? I
I
can't remember it.
I've
Hmm.
heard of. I think I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about. By
yeah.
is it like I wanted to say the sky is
And
falling, but it's not that. But it's something.
they were kind of making fun of like MAGA and like they had a
Oh,
they had like a they were building ships to go live in outer space because the world was ending, and they were
Don't
kind of
Hmm.
look up.
making. Don't look
Don't
up.
look.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
yeah.
it.
I would love for them to do something like that, but from a horror standpoint, I thought that movie was hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. And the guy who wrote that is David Sirota is a political journalist or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You see him sometimes on
Mhm.
independent media because I normally get my stuff from certain YouTube channels. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me that it would have that themes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do. I actually there's a I'll give away. There's a short story I want to write that's going to go with my anthology that has something to do with holiday horror, with each story taking place during a holiday. And my idea was kind of a they live type of thing where it's like on the eve of 4th of July, and the idea is they're having a special election because the congressman died suddenly, so having a special election right before the 4th. And basically the you have these two people who live next to each other who are polar opposites, but then they find out that both people running for this office are actually these shape shifting beings, and that we've been basically the whole government and all our institutions are run by these aliens, and they're just playing us each other off each other is
Mm-hmm.
basically the
Mm-hmm.
point
Mm-hmm.
of it. And my point was this was going to be the first story that I was going to write, and then the book and the last story would take place on Bastille Day, which of course celebrated in France. And this is where these group of billionaire who are running these things kind of get their comeuppance at the end and end up
Okay.
with their heads on spikes or whatever. That's kind of like my idea.
Guillotine,
From
baby.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, the people can say what they want about the French. They don't fuck around with
Hey,
certain
hey.
people.
There's there's only two parts of the death penalty that's ever been 100% effective: firing squad and the guillotine.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real.
But there's a lot you could do there too, where because you see this sometimes where because you even see it on both sides of the aisle, kind of. You even see
mhm.
it now. There are certain people on the right who are speaking out against or bucking from their own party, and you see it too on the left as
Yep.
always bucking against it, and they even end up people on the far left and the far right are actually agreeing on certain positions. Like, all right, no, this is going too far, people. We need to reel this in. But when you have like Ilhan Omar and Marjorie Taylor Greene agreeing on the same thing,
Yes.
it's a weird, weird thing, but
Yeah.
it's somewhat comforting too at the same time. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
we'll get away from the political stuff. But anyhow, but yeah, I could see them going through a lot because sometimes the thing is you have this gang mentality, obviously, and if you step out of line, it's like and you could certainly play off of that
Yeah.
easily.
That's kind of like my newest serial, which is the Department of see if I can remember this right. The Department of American Dignity. I'm kind of writing a Stephen Miller. I mean, later on, yes, I'm gonna give spoilers. Later on, it's gonna be so naked that I'm really taking shots at Stephen Miller. That yeah, just the shenanigans that's about to happen with
Hmm.
that. It's gonna be so much fun.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what God. If Carlin was only alive today, he would have so much fun
Oh,
material to work with over the stuff that's happened just in the last 5, 6, 7 years alone, for sure.
it's weird that
Um,
he predicted a lot of this stuff too. A lot
Really?
of
Did
people
he?
forgot
mhm.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
he
I
predicted
think
a lot of this.
I think back to some of these comedians I grew up watching, like Carlin, like Richard Pryor, like Bill Hicks. Boy, would they have a lot to say right
Not
Mm-hmm.
Bill Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
now.
Oh, I would love to see Bill Hicks and Bill Burr in the same room together. How
Yeah,
quick would that devolve into a fight?
it'd be a fun one for sure. I think they'd actually get along, actually, but
Yeah.
but I know. But I'm trying to think here. what else to discuss here? Tonight we've covered quite a bit tonight. Let's see here. I think I covered everything I wanted to. We talked about the horror going to television. Talked briefly about Alien Earth. On the flip side of that, it seems like the Predator animated
Mhm,
movie would do really well, um, or has done well. I haven't heard
mhm,
too much about it, so I'll have to check that out on
mhm,
Hulu. Maybe I'll watch it later tonight,
mhm.
maybe, or if not, I'll definitely catch it in the next month or so. I'm trying to think like some movies I've like. You spoke about comfort movies. The one area I always go to for comfort movies, if it's a full moon production or Stuart Gordon or any of those guys have anything to do, like the other night, Thursday night, I sat and watched Reanimator because
Mhm,
I had like
mhm.
3,000 things going on at once Thursday. And I'm like, this is good Reanimator night. Another one that I like, Lurking Fear is one that I've always been I'm shutting my brain off and having some dumb fun. It's like another Full Moon Productions one in the '90s that went straight to video with both. All right, you have Jeffrey Combs and Ashley Lawrence. Sign me up. I'm all in right
Yeah, it's
there. You know, Reanimator and Hellraiser, awesome. Yeah, have
Mhm,
representatives from those two movies. Yeah,
mhm.
I'm all in, and I'm not saying it's a great movie, but it is just a fun movie to watch. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like most of those movies, it's adapted from a old Lovecraft short story. So that's one I like. And um, what was that? Castle Freak. That's a good one. Even though that
yeah.
one's not as campy as some of the other ones, that's a very much more serious tone, but one with both, once again, Crampton and Jeffrey Combs. So,
Nice. Exorcist will always be my comfort movie, always and
Exorcist.
forever.
Well, that's like the first one that you
Hmm.
kind of got you into horror, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Yeah.
understandable. And I can,
Hmm.
hey, trust me, whenever I sit back and watch, and I'll do this in a couple weekends now, I'm gonna probably be watching a bunch of old Universal films because that's what
Oh
got me
yes.
into it. And at some point, I'm gonna hit Hellraisers 1 and 2, and then we start getting
Hmm.
into the more Halloween themed films as we go along. Which will probably be a topic of discussion next month when we do another one of these group things. Our favorite movies to watch around Halloween that
Hmm.
aren't named Halloween. So any of the because those are the obvious ones,
Yeah.
obviously, and I
Let me
just
start
did
on
a
that list now. I might be finished by the time we get on the air.
but we'll be doing that. I've got coming up too in a couple weeks. I don't know if either one of you two follow Margaret Bell on
Yep.
Substack. I
Hmm.
will be having her on to
Nice.
discuss kind of like the psychology of horror
Yeah.
because that's a big
Yep.
topic. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. Yeah, and then and I'll get with you guys, and we'll hopefully have a very big panel
Nice.
leading into Halloween. I'm probably going to do it on a Friday night on the 23rd. I would normally like to do it on Saturdays, but
Yeah.
Saturday the 24th happens to be my wife's birthday, and even though she's the type
Okay.
that will work on her birthday, I just have a feeling she's going to come up to me in the last second and say, "Oh, by the way, I'm off on my birthday, so I better, you know what? I'm going to be
Yes.
Yeah.
preemptive. I'm just going to schedule this on Friday night instead,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just in case." So I gotta leave myself open there. So, and I don't
Nice.
want to do it on actual Halloween because we're all going to have our
Hmm.
Halloween stuff to do, and that'd
I'll
be
be
another good
yeah.
topic.
I'll be
We can
working,
talk,
unfortunately.
yeah, but we can talk about also our favorite maybe Halloween traditions that we have. So
Hmm.
that's something we'll probably do. I'm going to also be talking with coming up Alice from Gothic Land. If you guys have seen her stuff on Substack, we're gonna have to do this because she lives in Spain. So I'll be
Uh-huh.
talking to her actually during the noonish my time, about 6 or 7 her time, and that one I don't think will be a live stream. I'll probably just release it later. Um, so that's kind of the stuff I've got coming up.
Nice.
What's some new things you guys have? Yanni, do you have something? You're about ready to end your season, I think, of your channel, or do you have some more
We
content coming?
right now I've been in heavy editing. We
Mm-hmm.
have worked on my other YouTube channel, which I co-host, Horror Nerd Experience. We've gotten, I think, 12 episodes finished for the season, and we've got, I think, one or two more left to record. Midnight Circuit is coming back. I just
Awesome.
had to deprioritize a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous Tides. We're wrapping up Lake or the Great Lakes. We the last episode of the season is going to be in November, and we are coinciding it with the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. We're going to do a big Edmund Fitzgerald special. So I'm excited for that because my writer for that, who's one of my best friends in the whole world, she is the daughter of a Navy man. She is a geek when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to
Oh, awesome.
Rex. Yeah, she loves that stuff, and she writes all of that stuff. So any of the AI allegations out there, uh,
And that's
quite a
another
few.
topic that people can hit too, with
Yeah,
horror movies and whatnot. And I will say this about Alien Earth: I'm glad they're at least leaning into how crappy billionaires are. So I'll at least give them that much credit with this thing there, because they're obviously making fun of things. I think they're trying to make fun of Zuckerberg. I'm not real sure, but or a combination of that. But
Yeah. Yeah, I get
hmm,
that. No. Yeah.
so
Um,
Kimberly, what I know you just released some good stuff this past week. What's some upcoming stuff you're looking at writing about coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a piece on zombies, my monthly horror hamburger edition. So for next month,
Hmm.
it'll be zombies. And then I'm going to be on the Horror Heals podcast on Tuesday. I'm not sure when they're going to release the
Oh, excellent.
episode, but I'll be speaking with that podcast on Tuesday, which I'm really excited about. And then just going through and writing some new content, really targeting women horror creators to help them just do good work and put it out and not be, timid or, just really lead into their voice in the Substack world. So I think Substack is still in its infancy, but it's growing and there's I really think Substack needs to get a horror genre,
yes, it does.
subgenre, or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah,
And yeah, it's just so many of us, and the amount of women horror creators that have been DMing me is just going crazy. So I think just helping
excellent.
them get their voice on Substack. So I'm so happy you're having Margaret Brell being featured in your next talk, which she's really cool,
Right,
which is
right.
really cool. So.
Well, I like trying to get as many diverse voices as I can,
Hmm.
because I'm always intrigued about hearing from other people's
Yep.
perspectives on stuff. Because, like I say, horror movies is kind of like a work of art. 10 different people can look at
Yes.
it and come away with 10 different
Absolutely.
opinions, which I think
Yep.
is really cool.
Hmm.
Um, well, yeah, excellent. And I know you were like, what was it? You were doing like trying to do like a website or something for like
Yeah.
female
Yeah.
creators, I think
Yep. So
is what you were up
so my
to.
website just launched, Horror and Her. Horror Concierge is just one arm of my overall
Mhm.
world. And then so released Horror and Her, and then I also just released Horror Heroine Collective, which is my mastermind, which is really working with women in the horror space, whether you're a writer or a filmmaker,
Mhm.
all centered around writing. You still need to write scripts for your podcast and such and so on. So just helping them hone their voice and just be not afraid to have a point of view, a strong point of view, and not be afraid to put it out there in the world.
Oh, exactly. And I think our community is probably one is at least becoming. I'm not to say there's not some toxicity. There's going to be some
Mm-hmm.
in all,
Mm-hmm.
so, but I think
Yeah.
ours has been done a really good job in recent years as far as being a very open and welcome community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, the fact that a 50, uh, we can all just sit here and talk and
Yeah.
look at the different things that we all take away from horror. I think it's a great thing. So it's like, you know, excellent. So that's very good. Um, I'm trying to think
Yes.
here. I kind of like said what I was going to say. For those of you watching, please, if you look down in the detail section, we'll have our Substack um, log or links. If you haven't logged in Substack, give it a try. If you want to discover some horror content creators, look at some of the stuff we're writing about,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, log in. It's not it. Substack's a very. I'm finding it to be a very free and open place for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. Very little censorship, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and that, of course, means there's going to be people you're going to find that you're not going to agree with on certain things, but it's a little bit of everything. But you're right, we do need like a special horror
Mm-hmm.
section or whatnot. It's certainly more some of the things I've seen and read on Substack you would not get away with on Facebook, Instagram, or
Oh,
no, 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 no. And I've never been on Twitter X. I've never been on there. Never wanted to be on there. So who knows what it's like there now. So it's like I'm kind of fine with what I'm on now and don't plan on branching out anymore. So excellent. So
Never mind.
all righty then. Well, I think that's going to be it for this evening. Had a great show. Thanks to both Kimberly and Yanni for joining me tonight. And we'll see everyone in a couple weeks. I like to say I'll have a guest on who's going to talk about how horror can be a therapeutic experience for the
Mm-hmm.
most part with Margaret Bell. So that's going to be a lot of fun talking with her. And like I say, we'll have another group chat on October 23rd that I'm playing on. So everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check out the links below and have a good evening, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
good
Bye.
night.